Grubhub is a food delivery platform, so we connect restaurants who are looking to bring in new customers to what we refer to as diners, who are customers who are coming onto the app looking for some food. And then our job as that platform is to connect them with the restaurants that they want. The problem eduMe was brought in to solve, I would say, was to provide us the opportunity to continuously provide learning content, educational content to our driver pool, not just box it into that introductory application phase when, they're might be completely new to the delivery experience, not know much. It's a lot of information to try to absorb before you've even had a chance to get on the road for the first time. Instead, we can piecemeal out some of that introductory experience, and then it also gives us leverage if we add new features to the app, new verticals to our delivery experience, put a lesson together and have drivers be able to access that both in the app or via communications that we send out or things like that. It really opened up our opportunities when it comes to educating drivers, and that's the problem we were looking to solve, I would say. I would describe guides as kind of a visual lesson. One of the ways we've utilized guides so far is with a rollout of a feature. As part of that campaign, the guide was built. It's kind of a first-person video walking through that delivery experience on the part of the courier. So approaching the home, what it looks like in the app, how to click through that, open the door, drop off the order. We've had a lot of success with that thus far. I know use from drivers that accessed that lesson was about 20% higher than couriers that did not. I did a sort of A/B test on sending that lesson to couriers in our comms. And for couriers for the group that was sent the lesson versus the group that was not, they were actually 60% more likely, as I understand it, to utilize that feature, which is great. We started a program called Shop and Pay a year or two back, where couriers can now order drugstore items or convenience store items or things like that. Shop and Pay, especially initially when launched, or when we add Shop and Pay as a feature to a new market, because it's not a national platform that we have right now. So for one, that Braze integration is going to let us communicate that out to drivers. Hey, we're rolling out this new program in your area, Shop and Pay, where customers will be able to place orders at stores like a Rite Aid or something like that. And then we can link to our lesson that covers how to do a Shop and Pay order, because it is different from a standard delivery. So the drivers are able to click that link and access those materials. And the extra bit of, I guess, icing we've managed to put on top of that is that it's actually is baked in app. When you get your first Shop and Pay order, you will also get a little pop-up on your screen with a link to that lesson that you can then check out if you want to. We do see a differential in terms of performance between couriers that access those lessons and those that don't. We see about 2% fewer contacts per order, 1 to 2% less cancellation rate. I'd say we think of a knowledge hub as sort of a library, right? It's a place where we can store all of the educational content that we think would be interesting or useful to a driver, and then they can access that at their leisure. The sort of email campaigns, like you mentioned, like Braze, or some of the entry stream experience, even the in-app pop-up lessons that we have are more proactive. Where I would consider the Knowledge Hub to be somewhat more of a passive experience, a self-education experience. We're not pushing you to go in there and do specific things, but we do like to make sure couriers are aware of it. And if they find themselves in a situation where, oh, how did I do a Shop and Pay order, or I can't remember how instant cash out works on Pay, they can jump into our Knowledge Hub, which, as you mentioned, is called the Learning Hub in our app. And all that information is there waiting for them to access as needed. Let's just have all the lessons there, context specific, in the name, so that you'll be able to find the specific information you need, not just have this big information dump at what's probably not an opportune time for you. Couriers that complete multiple lessons that we have on offer generally do significantly outperform couriers that might only complete an introductory lesson or none at all. I would say what we've seen in terms of drivers that completed multiple lessons, we've seen 10 to 20% difference in start rates from that driver pool. I'd say probably like a 15 to 20% increase in the amount of deliveries that those drivers complete over their initial 30 days. They tend to have higher acceptance rates, again, about 10% or so. Even in terms of hours worked during the week, you'll see, 10 to 20% increase on that as well. Across the board, we're seeing about a 10 to 20% increase in a lot of those metrics from drivers that regularly access lessons. I would say the plan for us moving forward is just to continually look for and identify opportunities for tools we're using or features that we're offering, whether they're new or stuff in the past that we might be using more than we did before, and see, do we feel like drivers are aware of how to do this? If no, let's build a lesson for it. Let's push that out to them, get useful information out there for new and existing drivers. Ideally, the better experience they're going to have and the more value that's going to add to Grubhub, which is kind of the name of the game for my team. eduMe is a great, easy way to get information that you need your customers or workers to know in front of those people. Simple as that.